This video is brought to you by Smooth-On and Tested.com. Hey everyone, it's Bill Duran here from Punished Props, coming at you with part 2 of the Tested District 9 rifle build. If you missed part 1, go watch it. You don't want to have any spoilers or anything. That's when we built the sort of main rifle body part. In this video, we're going to handle a whole bunch of the sort of tubular cylindrical type pieces. The best way to make pieces like that is with a lathe, and for that lathing I decided to go with a material called Wren Shape. This is a urethane tooling foam, and even though it's technically foam, I went with a really high density stuff. It actually feels kind of like stone, like rock. It's really rigid and really great for lathing. The pieces were cut down roughly to shape using the bandsaw, and then they got centered and stuck in the lathe. The process is fairly simple. Your piece gets spun along one axis, and then you use chisels and other tools to sort of whittle it away down to your cylindrical shape. Essentially, you just whittle it down to a rough cylinder shape about the main width of your piece, and then you can go back in with some other tools and carve in all of your little detailed pieces and different angles and stuff. I did this for all of the different pieces on the gun that were cylindrical, and then they were popped off the lathe so we could add a couple more detail pieces to each of them. Some of the stuff you just can't do on the lathe. For example, this one piece here, we added a little notch on the top of it using the bandsaw. Many of the other pieces were detailed using my Dremel. A lot of these just sort of by hand, using that and a knife and maybe a file to do a little bit of cleanup work. Some of the details were not subtracted from the piece, but added to. So, for example, some little line pieces could be glued down using a styrene plastic sheet. Once I was happy with how these pieces looked, I decided it was time to make some molds of them. The reason for molding, of course, is to make pieces that are a lot more durable than those masters that we built. Also, the barrel gun part has like 24 of those tube things. So instead of lathing all of them, I can make one of them, make a mold of it, and then cast a whole bunch of copies. For molding, these are pretty simple one-part dump molds. The pieces get glued down to a flat surface, and then we build a mold box around them. A lot of them, since they're cylinders instead of a box-shaped box like some of them, we would just use a tube, in this case just a cardboard shipping tube that I've got lying around. These tubes were glued down around their pieces, and then we mixed up some silicone. In this case, we used Smooth-On's Mold Star 15 Platinum Cure silicone, mix it up, put it in the degassing chamber to make sure we get rid of any bubbles that might offend us later on, and then poured that silicone right in the mold boxes. Nothing fancy, just dumped them right in there. Once that silicone cured, we could go back in and liberate all of our masters from their silicone prisons. This leaves a void in the silicone that is the exact same shape as the masterpiece that we can go back in, dump in plastic resin to make copies of our pieces. And that's how all of the cylinder pieces were done. But what about that giant rifle body thing? Well, we're gonna get to that one next time. That was a lot more complicated. I built my very first matrix mold for that guy, and we'll get to that next time. So you definitely want to subscribe so that you don't miss that one. Of course, part 1, go see that one if you haven't already. A lot of good stuff over there, and we've got some other videos you may want to check out. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, thank you very much to Smooth-On for supplying the mold making and casting materials for this project, and thank you to Tested for putting on this entire project. You guys were awesome! That's all I got for today, you guys. We'll see you all next time.